Studio B, this is your day-to-day BYU sports play-by-play. I'm Spencer Linton. That is Jerem Jordan. And our man joining us now on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline is the dual-threat analyst of football and basketball, Blaine Fowler, national champion quarterback. Blaine, happy President's Day.
Same to you guys. I'm glad to be with you. I wish I was in the studio with you, and I could come in since I already had COVID and won't get you guys sick. I could come in, right? But for some reason you stay at home with a BYU Stadium picture behind you, full, and don't come in here. That's the treatment I get. So
you haven't done enough on your resume to earn the right back.
Once you're here 40 years, then you can come in, Blaine.
Then I can do it. Okay, I've got 6 to go.
Blaine, you just heard us talking about Zach Wilson and the fact that he wasn't a captain preseason. He was on the leadership council, but then he was wearing the captaincy later in the season. Apparently this is a thing because everything is under the microscope when it comes to a top 5 quarterback in the NFL draft. Do you feel like it's an issue at all that Zach Wilson wasn't a captain going into the season?
I don't think it's an issue at this point. I do think it's fair game to ask about it. When you're going to spend the kind of money, and not only contract money, but upfront guaranteed money for a top 5 type draft pick, then every question is okay to ask, in my opinion, right? And so, but I think there's plenty of great answers for that. So the question's asked, well, wait a minute, why was this guy not a captain? And Spencer, you've alluded to some of the issue that he was hurt a big portion of the season the year before. They put the job up for grabs in the summer because of that. Other guys had started at that position. I love what Kalani did, and that he said, hey, the job is up for grabs, and Zach, you have to go earn the job. And not only do you have to earn the starting job, you've got to earn the respect of your teammates and establish yourself as a leader. And so this was a process over the summer. I think that process was awesome for the football team. And I think it was awesome for Zach Wilson because I think he did earn the trust of the team. They watched his work and they watched that he didn't complain for 1 second about not just being named the guy. Everyone watched the way he handled himself and how he was humble and did those things. And I thought it really helped the chemistry of this football team. So you can ask the question, right? And believe me, when these scouts and GMs, when they talk to Kalani Sitake, when they talk to Aaron Roderick, who was the quarterback's coach, every question is fair game. They're certainly asking that question, right? Mm-hmm. But the answer they're getting from Aaron and from Kalani is, oh, this dude's a phenomenal leader. He got these guys to rally around him. We basically told him he had to compete for the job. He didn't complain. All he did was compete, and in that earned the trust of his teammates. End of story, right? He was a phenomenal leader this year. So is it fair to ask it? Of course, everything's fair to ask, right? But I think the question is very easily answered. And if you ask the right people, ask the coaching staff what they thought of the teammates, they will unanimously tell you that he is and was a phenomenal leader.
And asking healthy questions in the pursuit of figuring out the best solution is the basis of the religion that funds the university here, right? Let's assess the leadership type of qualities that Zach Wilson has. I don't think he's the guy that would get up and motivate the group per se verbally, although he probably could do that. To me, he's the guy that goes, come on, I've prepared really well. I'm going to lead us down the field. I'm going to lead us into a game-winning drive. Like, that's the type of leader I see him as. How do you see him?
Yeah, he's a pace setter, I would call him. I don't know if that's a leadership style. And a pace setter, I mean, he's somebody that when folks are watching him, when his teammates are watching him, they just say, whoa, this dude is just relentless. He never stops watching film. He never wants to come out of a rep in practice. He's a pace setter. And they look at that and go, he's putting the work in, therefore I need to put the work in. And then there's that confidence on the field that when they're in a clutch situation, they go, well, I watched this guy put the work in, so I know he's going to go out and compete and make good decisions and do the right thing. And so that I would call his leadership style pace setter style, where he sets the tone, he sets the example. He's not a go scream in your face guy, but he is a guy that has respect, and he gets in the huddle and says, hey, come on, guys, this is a big moment. We've got to make plays, and people respect that. So not a jump up and down, get in your face, yell at you guy, but an example guy, and I'll take that all day long.
Blaine Fowler with us on BYU Sports Nation discussing Zach Wilson, and I want to talk about his draft projections. We've seen everywhere from number 2 to the New York Jets, or whoever trades up to get the New York Jets pick. 4 at Atlanta. Carolina's in the conversation. San Francisco's in the conversation. Blaine, where do you see Zach Wilson going at this point, knowing everything that we know?
Well, where do I want him to go? Or where do I think he'll go? Because those are two different questions, right? So I would love to see him. I'd love to see him at the Niners, but I don't think he'll fall that far, because I think the Niners are a team ready to bounce back because they have other pieces and they need a player like Zach. So from a fit, the style of offense, a team that's ready to compete, that would be great. Carolina's kind of that way too. So you almost hope for his ability to contribute and all of that he could go to one of those. Atlanta's not a bad place for him to be, because Atlanta, you get a chance to perhaps learn for a couple of years, and that's not a bad deal. Steve Young at first Steve Young didn't get a chance to do that, and it was miserable. You guys may not be old enough to remember, he was with the LA Express, and then he went to Tampa, and they were awful, right? This is back before it was Champa Bay, and he just got beat up. When Steve finally had a chance to go play behind a great player and learn, is when Steve blossomed. Then, of course, he took over, and he's a Hall of Famer now. And so there's something to be said for having a chance to learn and not be thrown right into it on a terrible football team. I didn't even mention the name of the Jets, but let's just say that's what I'm talking about. My worry is that he will go number 2 to the Jets. and my hope is that he goes to Atlanta or Carolina or the 49ers, or maybe somebody trades up and gets him. To me, I'd rather have him go a few spots further down the line, and or have somebody trade up to get him and be in a better situation with a team that's more prepared to have support around him.
Okay, Blaine, but what about San Francisco's defensive coordinator, Robert Saleh, going to New York as the head coach and taking the 49ers quarterback coach? Would that make you feel any better about Zach suiting up for the Jets?
It helps me from a scheme perspective, but it doesn't help me from the rest of the personnel on that offense perspective. So, and it's about, hey, we saw how important a great offensive line is in the Super Bowl, right? And so as good as Patrick Mahomes is, and as well thought out as that Chiefs offense is, when you're missing your 2 tackles against a good football team, and obviously the Tampa Bay's front 7, especially the front 4, is the word that we rarely use. They're elite, right? But so is Kansas City's offensive line. That's one of the reasons they're so great. You lose Fisher from that left tackle, all of a sudden you can't move the football. And so you got the most brilliant mind in the world calling the plays. You can have a phenomenal quarterback, but if you're not great on the offensive line, you have a hard time competing in that league. And that's my issue right now with the Jets.
If somehow the Colts came up and got Zach, that would be the best situation for what you're talking about in terms of a team ready to win with an offensive line, with a running back ready to go, with a decent crop of receivers. But I don't see how that's going to happen unless they sell the farm and get that high.
Yeah, they would have to make some type of phenomenal behind-the-scenes deal. But I'm with you. If we're just picking a place for him to go where he can thrive, oh, man, that would be phenomenal, right? But I don't know that he's going to have a chance to go to a place like that. So, and who knows? And who knows what else the Jets could get in this draft, right? Do they pick up a couple of good interior linemen? And
they could get Penei Sewell.
Yeah. And so, but if they get Penei Sewell with the number 2 pick, then they won't get Zach Wilson, so because he'll be gone. So, I think there's some good fits for him. And the worst case scenario for him, to me, is the Niners with that number 12 pick. That's the worst case scenario. And I honestly think when it's all said and done, he's going to be the number 2 quarterback to come off the draft board behind Trevor Lawrence.
Worst case meaning that's how far he could drop to 12.
That's the worst. Believe me, that's not a bad case, right? Going to that team. But I'm saying, when I say worst case, Jeremy, you're exactly right. I'm saying the furthest he would fall in the draft, in my opinion, is number 12 to the Niners. Okay,
Blaine, let's talk some BYU basketball now. According to the Herald Journal in Cache Valley, Utah State attempted to get a game with BYU and even said, hey, we'll go to the Marriott Center in Provo. Let's play. We know the Aggies are on the bubble. They're looking for a quad 1 game. It would have been a quad 2 home game for BYU. If that report is indeed true, should BYU have taken the game against Utah State rather than going through this long layoff?
my opinion, not at this point. Not at this point. If they could have gotten a big game that was a quad one game that really helped them, then I think that's the kind of game you look for. But to play Utah State again, a team that they already beat. And here's the thing: I know they said, "Hey, we'll come down to the Marriott Center," but unless you can pack that place, it's not. The home games aren't the same as home games were, right? It's just not. You just don't have the same feel. If you get behind and go to make a run, there's not a home crowd to sustain you to keep the energy. And we saw that in Boise State, right? And so it's a risk. And at this point, should BYU really take a risk on a game like that? They should play a game that if they win, it helps them. If they lose, it doesn't really hurt them. And I don't know that it hurts them dramatically, but for everything we're seeing, they're an 8 or a 9 seed right now in the tournament. The games they have remaining on the schedule should be. I mean, I was looking at the ESPN predictor, and I don't know how much I believe in that, but let's just use that as a reference. I think the lowest chance of winning they have in their next 3 games is 70%, right? And so then they go into that WCC tournament, and whether they play Gonzaga again or not, we'll see. But there really isn't, in my mind, a compelling reason to play Utah State at this point. BYU's played enough games. They got games coming up this week. I didn't see the need to do it.
And then you look at what BYU's playing this week with Pacific and LMU. A couple of Pacific, at least, is a quad 2 game. LMU is quad 2, I think, right now. So these are important games. Hopefully they stay quad 2 on Selection Sunday. That'd be nice. What concerns you, if anything, about this road trip?
I worry about the layoff, right? And that's why I would have worried about that game on Saturday, right? I worry about a layoff, and I worry about being a little bit rusty in terms of everybody remembering their roles and playing at full speed and playing with confidence and remembering where your shots come, all of that. Honestly, that's the only thing I'm worried about. And I'm worried about that early in the first contest, right? I think once they get the wheels back under them and they start to remember how they played together in the Portland game, or even in the second half of the Gonzaga game, I think they'll be fine. I think they come out with wins in both road games this week.
Blaine Fowler with us on BYU Sports Nation. Blaine, can BYU do anything to improve their seed line with the games that they have remaining on the schedule? Because right now they're projected as an 8 or a 9. Is there anything they can do to get up to that 7 line?
I don't know that they improve unless Gonzaga plays in the tournament and they beat them, right? They may move up one spot. So say they win out and they win in the tournament, and Gonzaga comes to the tournament and they play them in the finals and lose. They could move up in that scenario, but I don't know that there's anything they can do here in the regular season to move up at this point. Hey, you know what? I'll take an 8 seed right now in the tournament. And I think that this is a team that's deep enough and long enough and can match up with different matchups. They can go small, they can go big. Last year, one of the issues, as good as they were, they had some issues if they ended up facing a team with a really, really big interior. And this year, they can match up with anything they face. That makes them a nice tournament team. So I like their chances as an 8 seed of winning and advancing in the NCAA tournament.
Hey, Blaine, only 10 more years on your resume, and we'll let you back into Studio B.
No, it's down to 6.
Oh, it's down to 6. Okay.
Wait,
okay.
You guys forgot I'm coming on the 25th to co-host. Which one of you guys am I with?
Me.
Oh, that's right.
You're with me.
You don't even know. I'm with Jerem.
Yeah, let's party,
yeah,
Blaine.
I'm going to come hang out with Jerem. Spencer needs to dap. So you just never let me in when both of you were in. And I don't know. It's like, oh, no, you can be our friend if our best friend's gone. But
Blaine,
only
if
our best friend's gone.
Come on.
We'll plan a lunch date. I'll buy you lunch. We'll make amends.
I would say let's all go golfing, but I'm looking out my window, and that's not happening for a few days.
For a couple days.
Exactly. We've got to wait a while for that. Blaine, thanks for the time, my friend.
All right, guys. Good to talk to you.
Blaine Fowler on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Deseret First, you know why, we show how.
He's almost been doing this as long as I am old. I mean, that's insane.